Here, what's up, guys? Happy Friday. It's been a couple days. We had a couple days since Monday or Tuesday. Since Tuesday, we did Monday and Tuesday, right? And then Wednesday and Thursday was like the all-day nonsense. Last night, I had the time to stream, but I really felt like the stream would just turn into an hour and a half of me saying, stack this team, stack this team, stack. Look at all the pitchers were kind of mid. Turned out to be a good night because I knew Johnny Burrito, the Yankees starter, wasn't that good. He was highly overvalued by the field and by the Vegas line. So they were tied for one of my highest owned stacks. So it was a bittersweet way to make some money. I'm gonna be honest. Maybe not the most bittersweet way, but it was. I'm just glad they got it done in the first inning, man. How did you guys do last night, last couple days? Hopefully you guys have been all right. Missed y'all. But we're back at it tonight because we have a whole lot of games to break down. There's like 12 games, and 3 games didn't even make the main slate, so we get to skip those games. But we're going to have to do a good job of keeping me on track because I can get lost in the sauce when it comes to researching these numbers, man. How we doing? What up, Gilbert? What up, Adam? What up, Dylan? What up, Rob? Hope you guys are doing all right. Happy Friday to you guys. I'm sure more and more will trickle in. What up, Black Main? We start this stream off 8627. That's the number, 8627. So if we can, maybe we'll pick up 10 today. I don't know what I just clicked. All right, let's go. Nobody listens to techno. Stream brought to you by RunDFS.com. That's the place where we don't just play DFS. We run DFS. If you guys want to read along with me in the RunDFS.com MLB VIP spreadsheet, it is behind the paywall here. Click VIP memberships. Find a membership right for you. Week pass, 2-week pass, month pass, the season pass, and the end of the year pass. All these passes also come with a voucher towards Fantasy Cruncher if you guys are trying to manage a portfolio of lineups, which is what I would recommend for MLB. You don't have to do 150, but you definitely, as we research, we can explore several ranges of outcomes, especially since today's like not a slate with a bunch of aces. So you kind of want to be able to hedge, play a couple of ranges of outcomes, and I think 20, 50 lineups is a good little spot to be in night to night. Last night, I accidentally max entered the wrong contest on Fanduel, and I didn't feel like clicking on it, so I just did another one. So I actually ran 300 lineups last night on a 5-game slate. One of the more degen things I've done, but because the Twins, and you know what's crazy? We turned a profit, but I wasn't, like, I had a little bit of Joe Ryan. I had none of Vince Velasquez, and like those two were crazy. Those were the top 2 scorers on FanDuel yesterday. So even with unlimited lineups, it doesn't mean you're gonna win. So yeah, what are you gonna do? Everything that told me to play the Twins. Hate when I don't go with the gut. Man, it's something. I bet, subscribers at RunDFS.com, when they opened up the spreadsheet last night, and I wrote a little blurb about how the Twins were getting slept on. When I say it, you should probably be like, oh, okay, maybe there's something there, What do we do? Let's start with some weather. Let's go to rotogrinders.com/weather/MLB. Mr. Kevin Roth. There's a link to that. You should always have that bookmarked. Philly at Cincy. I don't think this is on the main slate. A few slow-moving downpours in the area. I'll put it at yellow now for a chance of delay, but may need to bump the risk up before first pitch. If I look at radar and one of those storms is ticketed for the ballpark. That game, maybe it is part of the main slate. No, it's not. All right, so not really going to be something we worried about here. Cleveland at Washington, some sprinkles over the ballpark. Hey. Sherry, thank you so much for the sub. Some sprinkles over the ballpark, but the heavy stuff should hold east. Decent hitting weather with temps around 80 and winds out to left center. Nice. Angels at Boston. Coolish with temps in the 50s. Winds near 10 miles an hour blowing in from left. Better pitching weather than hitting weather, though it's not a huge bump. Cool. Braves at the Royals. A sprinkle or shower. Not 100% out of the question, but unlikely. It is also unlikely to stop play, even if it does happen. Winds at 15 miles an hour are blowing a bit out to left, a bit right to left. All right, cool. Thank you, Mr. Roth. So, let's get into the action. What up, Pinstripe? What up, Shannon? Velasquez is going to screw a lot of people out his next turn when he doesn't get a... I actually am kind of curious. I was in my Facebook memories today. You guys ever do that? There's a memories tab. It'll show you like what you posted on this date X amount of years ago. I'll go pull it up. And ironically, I had a Facebook memory about Vince Velasquez. And it was from April 14, 2016. I said, Vincent Velasquez, 16 strikeout, CGSO, my Fanduel lineups, thank you. So, what was, right? Vince, hey, there was a bit where we were chasing Vince, and he always struggled with lefties to an extent. But he used to have some pop. How did he do yesterday, though? Like, the advanced metrics, not the results. So. Bam. He had an 18% swinging strike rate yesterday. That's pretty incredible. Batted ball data, 5.39 xFIP. Yeah, okay. So a little bit on the lucky side. What was the BABIP like? 286. BABIP's excuse me. BABIP was 188. So yeah, he was pretty lucky yesterday. But he was missing some bats in some timely spots. So, but yes, I don't think I'm running to play him next game. Ever. Not even if there's a fire. Guardians at the Nationals. First game on the docket tonight. Do we have a lineup for either team? We do. Maybe. Yeah, we think we do. Let's go. Here we go. We have a Nats lineup, right? I think I saw a Guardians lineup. Maybe I'm wrong. Alex Kyle. Dom Smith. Matt second. Joey Meneses, man, they are cutting the grass outside. So your boy might be sneezing a little bit more than usual today. I'm going to try to fight it. Luis Garcia, Kybert Ruiz, Lane Thomas, CJ Abrams, Victor Robles. All right, that's our confirmed Nats lineup. I feel like I might have saw a Guardians lineup. Give me a minute. Maybe not. Maybe yes. Ooh, that is tingly. No, I didn't. All right. Ooh, man. I'm allergic to grass, y'all. I apologize. All right, Cal Quantrill versus Trevor Williams, 2 contact guys, right? One way more than the other. Last year, 4.31 expected ERA for Cal Quantrill, 16% strikeout rate. ERA severely outperformed his Sierra and his expected ERA, and it's one of those guys that even if he does ground ball his way through eating some innings here, you don't really expect a he doesn't really have that outlier upside, right, where he can drop 25, 30 fantasy points to at almost 9K on DraftKings, make it worth your while, right? So he's probably not a guy that's going to make my player pool. Doing some due diligence here, see if what he's brought to the table this year, but unlikely that he's all of a sudden a strikeout pitcher, and he's not. 5.6 and 6.5% swing and strike rate in his first 2 outings. And then what about pitch counts? So all this is just for the opposing team and then maybe some props. Yeah, 6.5, 2.5, 3 Ks, 3 RNAs, 4 RNAs. One homer in that first game. Back-to-back starts against the same team. Seattle's decent, better obviously than the Nationals. So Nationals have a 53 WRC plus this season against righties, by the way. I did, if you're a RunDFS.com subscriber, I did make 2 adjustments. Fudge, that burns, man. So the splits up here and the bullpen information, now that we have like 3-4 series underway, this is completely focused on this season. So before that, it was bringing in last year's stats as well. Still not something I would go crazy about, but I did want to make that note. I should have put a tag in the Discord. Anyway, not going to play Cal Quantrill. Weakness here, I guess, against lefties, a 42% fly ball rate, almost a 20% line drive rate. A little over a 1 home run per 9. Not really running to grab any of the lefties from the Nats. Any lefty here would anybody on the team would over 200 ISO. Alex Call and almost Joey Meneses, but Meneses more of a lefty guy. So this is just a spot where 12 games, 24 teams. I'm just gonna expect the most mediocre game that ever did mediocre, at least when it comes to Nats versus Quantrill, because it does look like he could just eat innings and give up ground balls through the hole, right? Trevor Williams on the other side, 3.7 expected ERA last year. Really extreme splitty, where he had a 32% K rate to righties last year, but just an 8% K rate to lefties. Over a 300 average allowed, a 1.62 home run per 9 allowed. Bad news for him, because the Guardians come out very lefty heavy and switchy heavy, and those guys are going to bat lefty. So waiting on that lineup to be official, but this is certainly a spot for the Guardians to do some damage. Let me look at the first couple games for Mr. Trevor. What up, Jake? Happy Friday to you. I'm talking to pitching is moldy leftovers. Oof. Hey, I mean, leftovers from what? Because last night was sub 10% swinging strike rate in his first 2 outings. First pitch strike between about 67% on average. Batted ball data, 4.71 xFIP. Last game at 3.73 xFIP at Coors. That's interesting. Had a 41% line drive rate. Not what you want. Overall, looking like somebody that we still want to pick on, especially with lefties. What's his splits been so far this season against lefties? Just to see if it's picking up where he left off. He's actually had a higher average allowed to righties so far, but very small sample size. Not really expecting that to sustain. Has allowed a homer to both sides of the plate. What about the batted ball data? Fly balls to lefties. Yeah, 40+% fly ball rate. Pull rate's sitting about 30% on average. So this guy's a very attackable. Bond detector likes Jose Ramirez. If Ramirez is batting third, get that first inning at bat. Really like the look at him. So the Guardians feel more like a Substack team to me. I guess if we're just chasing power and pop, but I certainly, when that lineup comes out, I certainly want a piece of this. And Jose Ramirez, rightfully so, is the guy that makes the most sense. Also, rightfully so, $5,700 on DraftKings, 36 on Fanduel. So, you got to go up there and get him. I guess if nothing else, he makes a really good one-off. But if you're going to let a team like the Guardians put the ball in play, they hit for a great average, and you might get a couple multi-hit games, some stolen bases, and a little bit of pop. The ISO comes from J-Ram, Josh Naylor, and Zunino. I usually prefer to play Zunino against lefties, but I don't, a guy with the 20% batted barrel rate, I'll throw him in the mix if I'm ever getting to his team, if he's in the lineup. So, yes, on the Guardians a little bit, not touching either pitcher, and Nats, I'm just meh. Let's go look at no house advantage here. So, if you guys didn't know, I've been kind of salty with PrizePicks and what they've offered. They feel super selective, so I really wanted to expand on what I'm attacking in the prop streets. I still love PrizePicks, don't get me wrong. Brett, we love you. But I miss, like, straight, no-run first inning, stuff like that. And I noticed yesterday, No House does offer that in some spots. So we go to this game. If you guys are not on No House, there's a link in chat, or you sign up using code Gundacker. They're gonna double your first deposit up to $100. So for this game, Cal Quantrill, what can we get on him? 2.5 Ernie's. Ooh. I more so want to pick on the other pitcher. Maybe that isn't offered here. It's not. But for instance, in some games, like if we look at this Yankee game, they offer both pitchers. Check this out. Not only, in this case they don't, but in some cases they give you that half a run first inning. They'll give you 2.5 runs first 3 innings, 4.5 runs first 5 innings, which I liked a lot yesterday. So if you didn't know that and you've been missing like straight up nerfies or want some action like that, I thought that was a pretty unique offering that I haven't seen in the other sites yet. I also do like Underdog. I'm trying to sort some stuff out with them, having some issues on the backside, but yeah, if you didn't know, No House Advantage made a big change to their website. So a little bit more aesthetically pleasing, and it's fun. And their multipliers pay out at a higher rate than the other guys, 25x. On the big one. So looking at Cleveland's props today, if we were wanting to grab something, this one I don't like. I will say this, I'm completely transparent. I hate this singles crap offered by these sites. This is such a scumbaggy scam. Don't bet these because this is not a total base. This is not a hit. This is, will the person hit a single? So like in this case, I like Jose Ramirez a lot for power against Trevor Williams. If he hits 2 homers, 3 homers, it doesn't cash this half a single. Don't touch those. So the run is maybe, which would kind of be scored on the home run, but I'm not going to touch that here. Anybody else on the Guardian side? Quan is maybe on the singles, but I'm still not going to bet that half a run. All right, so still pretty selective, but that's why we're shopping both sites. And then I guess I didn't have PrizePicks open. I thought I did. My nose is burning, y'all. Y'all understand? Me and grass, we don't get along. And I got the air pumping, so it's just like blowing. My eyes are starting to itch. Pop open PrizePicks real quick for y'all. Look at what they offer for this game, and I'll try to make 2 lists here. I did see PrizePicks went nuts with the playoff stuff. That's pretty cool. Both sites offer pretty cool playoff offerings. All right, baseball. Rasmussen is your clear top pitcher. Makes sense. What up, Sam? What up, Melinda? Hope you're doing all right. Only got $1 to join a single entry or 3 max contest. What should the strategy be for that type of contest? Strategy should be to win. But I will say, on a slate like this, usually, at least with the hitters, usually you don't have to worry about chalk at one spot. Yeah. So just kind of trust your research and try to make the best one lineup. If it were me and I didn't really care about $1, I'd probably be a little bit more contrarian, but I don't think that there's a bunch of coagulated chalk today. Let me see. Barrios about to get blasted today. He's giving up 349 average to hitters on the year. Somebody in Discord said that his advanced metrics are better than people might think, but we'll look at that. Because last year he was just not it, fam. Not it. Any super chalk? Not really. Jose Ramirez, ironically. Otani's up here. But chalk's not that crazy today. So I think if I would just do some research and make a lineup, bro. Depending on how many people are in that contest, I'd probably sell out with a stack. But if it was like a couple hundred people, maybe I'd just throw a couple like handcuffs in the mix. I do that sometimes for cash games. What was I doing? Oh, PrizePicks for this Guardians Nationals. What's on the board here? Anything for J-Ram? J-Ram is an 8.5 fantasy. Alright, I probably like that better than what's being offered on No House. So we'll do Jose Ramirez over 8.5 FPS. And of course, these aren't locks, these are just leans. Quan at 7.5 is intriguing if he leads off. 1.5 TB is also intriguing for J-Ram. Quantrill at 25.5. That'll give us anything on Trevor Williams. 4 strikeouts for Quantrill. I'd probably lean the under, but I'm not going to force it. All right, let's matriculate on to the next one. Here, what up, Steve? What up, Arcatelza? PrizePicks always picks and choose props. Yeah, it seems like they all do, which I get it, because they can't really control the odds and the like the sportsbooks can. Like the sportsbooks can offer everything and set it at a price that they can control and be profitable. So like I understand both sides, but it sucks to see such a the board be so difficult. But like if you have access to actual sports betting, you know you should be doing that. But I do not. What a piggybacking that question. I'm playing the $10 single entry on Fanduel. Should I play it like a cash game? I switch between strategies. Just wonder what you think is best. How many entries are in that? I don't think you should ever play. Okay, we'll say ever, but you shouldn't play it like a pure cash game. But in baseball, every slate is really different. Yesterday, and you look at a couple of slates so far, you pop open a single entry, and you got a team stack at 30, 40, 50%. Some of those Coors slates were crazy. It doesn't feel like we're going to have that issue today. Maybe things will change. But it looks like neutral ownership on a big Friday night slate where there's no clear-cut one team in a superior spot to the other, right? Let me go look at run lines for today overall, right? By the way, what was the Guardians run line? It's 5.4. That's pretty doggone high. That's probably one of the highest. So maybe the Guardians end up being a problem. So looking at the main slate run lines, we have Guardians 5.3 runs, Cardinals 5.1. 5.1 on the Padres, 5 on the Braves, 4.9, essentially 5 for the Yankees, essentially 5 for the Rays, 5. So it's pretty well even, you know? But, like, if you were to come at me on a single entry slate where Coors Field is 40, 50% owned, like, in one lineup, me personally, I would give the field, I'd give half of those lineups, those players, and try to circumvent. I don't think you have that issue today. So I truly believe that every slate has its own context to approach contests like that. So if it's a field of a couple thousand, or if it's 1,000 or less, $10, it would feel pretty like today. I would probably have a high floor lineup, cash gamey, but maybe a couple of crazier clicks. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not the highest owned pitcher, one of the second or third that projects well, and maybe find a couple of back pocket plays that, like Jose Ramirez, I think is projected to be the other. Actually, let me look at FanDuel ownership. You don't have access to an H-Town. Man, Cattell's, I feel you. I'm in Waco. I've been kind of keeping tabs on this sports betting bill. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. Hopefully, we get a surprise, but it's not looking good. Which is crazy because Texas feels like it's beginning to be a little bit more progressive, I guess, when they decriminalize marijuana. So on FanDuel, there's a little bit more chalk. It looks like we got 5 guys that might be 1 in 5 lineups or better. So maybe don't play all these guys in your single entry. And then maybe instead of a 4-3 stack, you can 3-3 or 2-2-2. You know what I mean? But I don't think you have to go crazy different tonight because of how spread out ownership plays. If it's a 1,000-man field or less, Nobody. What's up, Nate? Hitters batting 071 against Rasmussen on the season. Yeah, he's looked really good so far. 952 people in your contest. Yeah, so you don't have to go crazy. Usually, a lot of the game theory that you hear from the average piece of MLB DFS content is thinking in broadest of terms. The big 50K to first tournaments where there's 25, 30, 50,000 entries. Then you have to be a little bit more cognitive of how to be unique. And I think in a single entry where, there's a couple hundred entries, you already have a pretty doggone good shot at being unique, just because there's less entries by the field to land on the same lineup as you, if that makes sense. So don't overthink it, but you want a couple places to differentiate yourself from the field. But I don't think today is going to be as stressful to do that. Going back to last year on Barrios over Fulton, he gave it 288 average. Yeah, Barrios was very, very bad last year. What up, Tone Loke? Yo, Tone's got that red panda? Let me find out. Appreciate that. Any over under 8.5 runs in the first inning? Okay, buddy. Hold on, Steve. I have to do some research here, if you don't mind. If you don't mind, I can do some research. Where the Red Sox at on here? Check, help me out. Where the Red Sox? Let me. No, that's not the Red Sox. Hold on. That's not the Red Sox. What? That's not the Red Sox. That's not the. Where the Oh, they're in last place? Keep it moving. Keep it moving. No, Rasmus is pretty good. I'm planning to play the 3-game 640 slate. Which pitcher should I play on DraftKings? Man, Nate, don't get me lying on you, bro. I'll take a quick look at it, but I didn't expect to exhaust any time on that. So you got Taijuan Walker, Overton, Mad Bum, Trevor Rogers, Manaea, and Joey Wentz. Yikes. Walker? Walker Rogers? I wouldn't. I say it looks rough. I'd probably say my 3 would be Walker, Rogers, Manaea, but please don't hold me to that. 8 games back after 2 weeks. I mean, you guys are also tanking for Wembanyama, right? What up, ACP? How you feeling about Tampa today? They should be all right. All right, let's get back into some research, guys. We got a little off track. Remember, we got 12 games. Twins at the Yankees. Louis Varland taking on Nestor Cortez. The Yankees looking to bounce back from a game we don't speak about anymore, but the Yankees did win. If you look at just the 4th inning to the 9th inning, Yankees won that game. I think that's a fair assessment. Do we have lineups yet for either team? We do. We have both teams. Volpe's leading off, so that's good for Volpe. Bad news for DJ LeMahieu, because this is going to make the 3rd game that DJ isn't in the lineup, and I think he's hurt. And this is a problem we saw last year where he had this core injury, and it turns out he was like lying about how hurt he actually was, just because he wanted to be out there and play. Looking at you, Zion. So hopefully it's not going to be that serious, but it is very concerning to not have DJ or Josh Donaldson right now, if nothing else for infield defense. But DJ's been raking. So Anthony Volpe, Aaron Judge, Rizzo, Giancarlo Glaber in the 5 spot, Oswaldo Cabrera, Jose Trevino, Isaiah. Is it Francie in the? It is Francie. Man, these allergies are getting me, boys. Steve, I feel it. Yo, Steve, you know my boy Rod's little Blue Jays fan. We had quite the conversation. You might get a kick out in the Discord. So last night when the Blue Jays lost to the Tigers, I tagged him. I said, LMAO, Blue Jays suck. He responded, Yankees suck more. I said, nah, we suck significantly less than y'all suck. And then this is where a Red Sox fan would chime in, and then we'd both look at him and say, shh, no talking. All right, let's do some research on Louis Varland. 26 innings pitched last year. About a 20% K rate, both sides of the plate. Looks like an elevated line drive rate allowed to lefties. Maybe some reverse splits there. Let's, do we have MILB? Yeah, we do. Louis. So one of the reasons I liked New York, or liked the Twins last night, was New York's weather was pretty nice for hitting. Looks like tonight could be another good night. Almost 80 degrees right now, so cool. Varland splits. Beast on the name spelling. Did I mess something up? So in his career, 2.59 ERA, 243 innings pitched, 307 strikeouts. Yikes. Big time strikeout guy. So far this season, 5 innings, 9 strikeouts. Wow. What did we do in that first game? 5 innings, I guess, huh? 5 innings in that game, 4 hits, and he's a 5 ground out to air out ratio in that game. Let's see, what's his overall from last season? This guy looks good. I know round 15, pick 449. Wow. So against lefties, 20 walks in 47 innings, 53 strikeouts, 47 innings, 66 strikeouts, 57 innings to righties. So the ground ball rate isn't as high if we go to last year, but it's almost about a 1.0 ground out to air out ratio. And then looking for power, 9 homers and 57 at bats, or excuse me, 57 innings, 6 homers, 57 innings against righties, 8 and 47 against lefties. So he does have a home run problem. Well, other than that, he's pretty clean. Actually, his whip was elevated last year too. And I think that might be attached to a little bit of a walk problem. So we shall see. We shall see. Varland has made 1 start for AAA St. Paul this season, allowing 1 run, 4 hits, blah, 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 blah. He'll likely only stay in the major for 1 appearance. This Kenta Maeda. All right. So, usually the minor league elite numbers don't translate instantly to the major league level, so I'm not going to overreact to the crazy K numbers there. We didn't see it at the major league level in the 26 innings that he pitched last season with an 8.5% swinging strike rate. But you never know. We saw a lot of strikeouts out of the Yankees yesterday, and there's a lot of strikeout potential in this lineup so far. Volpe has been striking out almost 1 to 3 times against lefties. Judgy, Stanton, Glaber, Franchi, Oswaldo all have elevated strikeout rates. So maybe it wouldn't be the craziest click in the world if you're trying to go after one of those large field contests to grab some access to Varland. Joe Ryan did a great job yesterday of spending 7 innings, and then being such a wide game, they didn't have to go to any quality arms. I don't really know who the quality arms are out of the Twins bullpen. Let me go look at that. Cole Sands came out, so Joan Duran, he throws gas. Griffin Jacks, we've seen him start. Jorge Lopez, really good. So those guys would be available today. So if he can give them 5 innings with a pretty rested Twins bullpen, I could see that. So I probably wouldn't want to trust him from a Fanduel standpoint, but it doesn't look like he's on Fanduel anyway. Yankees, I'm just stacking them because they're the Yankees, right? Little bit of bet on talent, but no DJ, specifically against lefties. No DJ, no Josh Donaldson, and 2 of the guys that have been the best and brightest spots for the Yankees lately, Rizzo and Franchi, in a tougher spot with this lefty on lefty matchup here. So I'm a little bit more lukewarm on the Yankees than maybe the field would be. But Judgy is busting the bomb detector right now. 4.5 rating in the bomb detector, and that's based on just 15 innings of sample size from last year of Varland against righties, and then what Judgy has done. But remember, Varland in the minors, if we look at that righty split, he did allow 6 homers and 57 innings. So usually about one homer every 10 innings is like cool. So if you're a little bit more than that, and he's a little bit more than that, then yeah, I still want to look at you. And kid in the major leagues, Yankee Stadium, good luck, right? So yeah, Twins against Nestor. Nestor has certainly been one of the more polarizing pitchers for advanced metrics, because there's some stuff he does that you can't quite quantify, such as the funky deliveries. He doesn't necessarily offer the same delivery each pitch, which messes up a hitter's timing. But he has been pretty solid this season. A 10% swinging strike rate, 11% in game 1 against the Phillies, 9% in game 2 against Baltimore. Game 2 went a little bit more rough in both games. An xFIP flirting with 5 or flirting with 6. That's not what you want. The BABIP in those games, 344, so a little bit unlucky in that first game, a little bit more average in that second game. I think he's going to garner ownership just because people know his name versus what else is offered in today's field. And that might be kind of like yesterday with Johnny Burrito. People saw a couple games of or at least one game of usable stuff. And I think Nestor, if you're looking at, let's see, on Fanduel, Nestor's top 2 in ownership. And on DraftKings, I think he's also top 2. So much like yesterday, and maybe yesterday will soften these numbers, but I still think you can pick on Nestor. He's going to have some bad games with the type of stuff that he throws. So Nestor is the highest owned pitcher on DraftKings. I mean, wow, people forget really quickly. And this Twins lineup projects really dangerous against lefties. Buxton leading off. Correa homered yesterday. Donnie Barrels batting over 300 last 2 years against lefties. A little bit of power here in this lane with Miranda, Jeffers, Garlic. You give them the short porch. So I don't think it's out of the range of outcomes for Nestor to have a bad day. You would hope he doesn't. And bullpen-wise, they were able to kind of soften the hit with Colton Brewer, I believe, yesterday came out. And then Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. But I don't think it's a lock that Nestor shuts down the Twins. And him being the highest-owned pitcher, inversely, you would think means that the Twins are undervalued, right? It just correlate in the field. If the highest owned pitcher is this guy, then the highest owned stack is not going to be the Twins, and the Twins might be slept on again, and I still like them against lefties. So we're going to add the Twins officially. I do want to get to some Nestor just because he can manage a game and help this team bounce back, but I just think he's a little bit overvalued. That's just it. He's just overvalued. He's not invaluable, but he's not valuable, but he's overvalued in this spot, in my opinion. Let's get caught up on chat. Burrito was brutal, but you could kind of see it coming. I think that first game against the Giants was completely an outlier, but the casuals don't know it's an outlier because it's its only game at the major league level. But that was not in his minor league pedigree. And then in the second game against Baltimore, he only had like a 6% swinging strike rate. That looked a lot more like the Burrito from the minors. So he needed to get punched in the jaw and bounce back. I still think he's going to be all right, but he shouldn't be a starter, at least anytime soon, right? Just from a baseball view, Tampa's good to watch. Moving on. You can see the Jays smashing Rasmussen tonight because of baseball. They're going to lose eventually. Judge played at Cape Cod. Yeah, Judge, he's a sweetie, man. I don't think anyone on this planet has a bad word to say about Aaron Judge, right? Let's move on. Next game. Tampa Bay Rays taking on the Blue Jays. Do we have lineups here? I don't have it yet. At least not on my board. We'll look at it if it comes out. But we got Jose Berrios taking on Drew Rasmussen. So Rasmussen is 10K on DraftKings, 11.2 on FanDuel. Jose Berrios down there in the 7K area. Rasmussen, a pair of really, really brilliant starts. Looking really good. 8 strikeouts, 7 strikeouts, 6, 7 innings respectively. against the Nationals, against the Athletics. Yes, strength of schedule definitely on his side, and this is going to be a big change of pace. And I know people are saying that. Yeah, he faced bum teams in this first start, blah, 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 blah. Pitching, good pitchers are good pitchers, and I think Rasmussen is a good pitcher. Maybe that's a little bit too much out of the first 2 games, but I wouldn't ignore him here, especially on a slate where pitching is so shallow. 3.46 expected ERA last season, 3.63 the season prior. Has played to a sub-3 ERA in back-to-back seasons. Swing and strike rate has been in the double digits for 3 seasons now. Blue Jays yesterday looked kind of rough. They couldn't really get that big hit against Spencer Turnbull, who ended up being like top 3 scorer on Fanduel, which is crazy. And yesterday I thought the Blue Jays were overvalued, so that was kind of a stand because they were one of the chalkiest teams against Turnbull. Turnbull is not good, don't get me wrong, but his ground ball rate is like 50-60%. So I thought on a 5-game slate, that's where a lot of ownership is going. Against a ground ball pitcher, I'm gonna take my chances elsewhere and going the Twins. So it's just one of those things where you got that right. Anyway, focusing on pitching here, let's look at Rasmussen's advanced metrics. And yes, we will respect the strength of schedule, Nationals, Athletics, and I've been saying this about this crazy run by the Rays anyway. Like they drew the right straw when it comes to strength of schedule, not taking away their win streak here, but a little bit on the lucky side. 13.3% swing and strike rate to start the season, 74% first pitch strike. xFIP has been immaculate, ground ball rate over 50%. That's what you want. Hard contact rate just untouchable, right? Statcast says that he's allowed 1 barrel, 4 hard hit balls. So certainly somebody that's going to put up a fight. Maybe the Blue Jays diminish his ownership. No, this ain't right. This can't be right. At virtually unowned, I don't think I believe that. It's possible that people respect the Blue Jays like enough to not play him, but at single digit or like even a fraction of ownership, I don't know if I'm buying that. But I still think there's respect on the Blue Jays name. What about over here? Rasmussen. 0.5%. Man. I mean, if he's projected at virtually no ownership, like, you have to take a shot. I kind of disagree with that. Like, I feel like he could push 5-10%, but I get it. Blue Jays are good. Still a hard team to get some Ks on, but I don't know. I'm gonna take my chances there. And then Jose Barrios, we know, not good. I did want to take a look at his advanced metrics from the first 2 games. Somebody mentioned that they might have been better than we think. You think Drew might go crazy? He's good. Rays are not losing their first game with Rasmussen on the mound. If they lose, it'll be with a starter like Fleming. I would say, I mean, going well for them is the fact that Jose Barrios is pitching, but any pitcher can get got, man. I wouldn't. We've seen Max Scherzer get destroyed by the Brewers, just for the Brewers to turn around and get like smoked by who's that? You know what I'm saying? Pitchers some days forget to bring their stuff. First 2 games for Barrios. So the positives: 14.4% swing and strike rate. Negative is that last game he didn't throw strikes. The first game was against Kansas City. That's a plus matchup. Batted ball data is on his side. 3.2 xFIP, guys. That's not bad. Ground ball rate pushing 50%. What's the StatCast? 3 barrels, that's not what you want. 16 hard hit balls, that's not what you want. A lot of that came from the first game. So there's some good in the bad, but I think that's the story of Jose Barrios' career. That's why he has this ridiculous contract. So I'm going to be more likely to lean on what we know in the last 2 years is where he's really struggled with lefties, particularly last year, almost a 300 average allowed to lefties, 2 home run per 9. So a guy like Brandon Lau, who has started this season on fire, makes a ton of sense. Wander Franco's been good. And then Randy Arozarena and Yandy Diaz, they're fine clicks as well. But Berrios' numbers are kind of sneakily there. Like, there's going to be some good games with those numbers. But the Rays being right now the best team in baseball would be #baseball Susan if he were to have a crazy good game here. Is anybody in chat playing Berrios? I would assume like he's very low in the totem pole to almost not be in touch. No, he's grabbing almost 10% ownership. I mean, the fact that he's projected at 10% while Drew Rasmussen is at like 0% is crazy. And then inversely, and this is just picking on ownership projections here, if we look at Toronto, no one on Toronto is getting ownership. This does not feel right. I mean, I get it. Like, in some spots, there has to be, like in the Nats situation, right? I don't want to play Kyle Quantrill, but he's such a ground ball guy that, like, I don't want a full send against him. But when Drew Rasmussen meets the Blue Jays, it's an unstoppable force, a movable object, right? You have to make a decision there, and it shouldn't be so low owned. So, like, if these ownerships end up being accurate, and I could be 5 times the field at 5% on both, I'm happy. It doesn't compute to me, but yeah. So, like, if you're out there fading Rasmussen because it's the Blue Jays and you're not playing the Blue Jays, or if you're not playing the Blue Jays because it's Rasmussen, but you're not playing Rasmussen, like, make a decision there. I mean, there's definitely upside on either side. So hopefully these ownerships are right and I can have just crazy leverage at 5-6% owned on both sides. But it does. I don't know that I don't know. I just can't look at some of these pictures like Waka, Berrios and be like, yep, I would be 8 times on Berrios than Drew Rasmussen. You know what I mean? Like, fudge. Anyway, doesn't make sense. Last start, Toronto got a -1. He can die against the Blue Jays, 100%. But this is more of a ownership versus probability thought than what's the likeliest to happen. You know what I mean? Like, if Rasmussen was 20% owned right now, then I'm like, well, is there a 20% range of outcome, or probability-wise, is 20% of the time, or is Rasmussen the nuts here? Well, maybe that's a little bit ambitious on a 12-game slate, but for what's being projected right now, you can't tell me Rasmussen is less than 1% optimal, or is not optimal less than 1%. You know what I mean? That's just what's got me stuck there. Getting a lot of Quantrill on Fanduel. Stop that. Just take him out of the pool. Here, what up, Jay? Jay stack for me, or at least my pool. Yeah, and that's the ultimate scumdacker spot for me, man. Both. There's upside in both. Rays too hot not to play. Berrios 0 for 2. Yeah. ERA. All right, we relax with the ERA. I'm just kidding. But yes, we don't. What up, Ryan? Here. Hope you're doing all right. Playing Rays, no Berrios. Now, I'm fine with that. I think Berrios might be more of a price play. But like I said, you can come to me with Berrios today, and I'd be like, all right, I get it. I do. Like, looking at the xFIP and the swing and strike rate from the first 2 games, like, the hard hit balls are a problem, 100%. And I'm not saying he's gonna do good, but, like, I can at least understand the case here. It's not like you're coming at me with the 5% swing and strike rate, 8 xFIP. Like, there's a little bit to surprise us with a good game here and there. Like, last game, almost a 17% swing and strike rate. I guess you could say, other than Ohtani and Trout, maybe the lineup was a little soft, but no matter what, like, if we start regressing to the mean a little bit, the Rays in their DNA can strike out. In this projected lineup, we've got 4, 5, 6 guys with 23% or greater, and most of them are greater. Like, there is strikeout potential here. It's just a good team. So, basically what I'm saying is I don't think you're crazy if you took a shot on Berrios. Right now, I'm going to leave him out the pool just because, I don't feel like I need to get there. But Rasmussen's ownership is just crazy to me. What up, Sinjin? Hope you're doing all right. I'm going to Senga, Rasmussen, Rays, Twins, Braves. I like that. Hey. Mr. Grapefruit, welcome to the channel, man. Where are we at? Where are we at? We started at 86.27. We're at 86.28. So we're only a +1. I feel like we lost one. I know we gained 2. Probably my 3rd or 4th time finishing top 5 without taking first place. Had him in Joe Ryan. That's really good, Ryan. You're getting there. No one thinks flying from Tampa to Toronto to play baseball in one day is going to have a negative effect. It could. It's baseball, right? Like, there's a letdown game coming. I'm with you. Like, I understand every argument about this game, all 4 corners. So I'm not overstressing it. Taking my honorary bong hit for my man who don't smoke. We don't smoke. I'm not against it, though. I just haven't, All right, let's move on. See, you get me on these tangents, chat. It's 12 games. You're trying to get me out of here with an hour left. I have to speed it up. It's all right. I don't need to be out of here, right? There's no other MLB shows that are about to... I think the homies are doing NBA at the top of the hour, right? So... I guess I don't feel as rushed to get out of here. Eloy, Jake Berger. I just like to not go oppo the homies if they're doing the same subject I'm doing, All right, White Sox. Confirm. I don't see the Orioles lineup. Alright, no Orioles lineup. Tyler Wells taking on Mike Clevenger. Pretty unflattering spot for pitching here. The run total for the Orioles, 4.7. White Sox, 4.6. 70-plus degree temps out there in guaranteed rate field. Tyler Wells last year in 103.2 innings had an 18% K rate, 4.53 Sierra, 3.78 expected ERA, and Clevenger last season 4.65 expected ERA, 18.8% K rate, almost a 10% barrel rate, 114.1 innings there. Neither pitcher, based on those metrics, inspired much confidence in me. 11 innings out of Wells this season, has 8 strikeouts. 6 of them came in 6 innings against the Yankees. It's not a plus for that kid for the Twins today. We'll look at the in-between metrics for him there. I feel like we might have to skip a couple of this, but we'll make this as brief as possible. This guy's flying looks. Yeah, I wouldn't sweat that too much. 10% swinging strike rate, 11% in game 1. Throwing strikes for the most part. xFIP was elevated in game 1, sub 4 in game 2. Still not pristine, but whatever. 3 barrels in that last game where he got those strikeouts. 8 hard hits in that game as well. All right, I don't really feel that inclined to get to Wells here. 6,300. I guess it's not the in DraftKings. I don't think Fanduel's a click here, but on DraftKings, if you'd be okay with saying, all right, this is only, you can go 1 high, 1 low pitcher today because you don't know if there's going to be a double barrel pitcher day. Like, if you got a home run total from Wells, like, I don't think you're crazy in big field tournaments to take a shot. I just don't feel that compelled. I don't like to get too cute, but I can see 6,300 playing in a lineup. You know what I mean? Clevenger, he's had a game or two this season. I feel like that first game was kind of a surprise. Yeah, 8 strikeouts. Curtin called it with just 1 strikeout against the Pittsburgh Pirates, right? That is baseball in a nutshell. 8 strikeouts against the Astros, and then Curtin calls with the same innings, 1 strikeout against the Pittsburgh Pirates. So let's look at his metrics. Man, excuse me, Chad. This cut grass is getting to me. Not to get smoking, but I'm not going to recommend it. I mean, tobacco, obviously not. But, like, I don't have no beef with weed. I just haven't done it. I haven't done anything. I haven't done the alcohol, the smoked weed, none of that stuff. But I don't care. Like, I'm not some crazy, this is bad guy. I just haven't done it. He went to a 3.4% swinging strike rate against the Pirates. That's crazy. xFIP's through the roof in that game, 7.5. What happened? You know what I mean? Like, what the freak happened? 3 barrels in that game? He just didn't have his stuff, or what? Pitch type velo was fine. Well, you guys know me. I'm way more likely to click at Orioles than a sub-average pitcher. So I think that's what we're going to do here. Clevenger brought a lefty split problem with him, not only last year, but that's something I remember. I remember in the playoffs one year, he was coming out to face Greg Bird, and I tweeted, "Bird's about to homer," because I knew Clevenger gives up homers to lefties, and sure enough, Bird homered. So it's like a call your shot thing. Yeah, struggles against lefties when it comes to power. So this is a fun spot. I'm here on the Orioles again. I'll often be on the Orioles against mediocre pitching, because not only do they give us a little power, but they give us some stolen base. They'll run and gun. So we'll put Orioles on the list here. I'm probably going to avoid in short entry, like 20 or 50 lineups or less, getting to either pitcher. Just not really seeing the upside here. And then White Sox against Tyler Wells. I don't know. What are you guys thinking? The bullpen for the Orioles has been fine, not great, but fine, above average in strikeouts. White Sox are a little bit beat up, so this is not their A-team lineup. Still no Tim Anderson, no Yohan Moncada. So there's only a couple names here with some everyday name value: Benintendi, Luis Robert, and Eloy Jimenez. So maybe they're a Substack candidate, but I'm probably not full sending. I will full send the Orioles, and that's all I got to say about that. Let's get caught up on chat. Yeah, I like that call, Grape. I think the Twins are in another decent spot. Rays 3-man with a Braves 5-man. I can give it that. When you have a chance to set an MLB record, that's not likely to be a letdown. Yeah, I'm sure that's what they're, like, the whole trip. They want it. They want it. Appreciate that, Adam. Yeah, it's been a couple days, man. I wish if MLB would tighten the schedule up. Like, if you gave me Monday through Friday of 7 p.m. baseball, you guys would get a show from me every day. And then the weekend it'd be flexible. But it's just been weird. Got Jimmy Buckets under 27.5 points. He's not happy with the Heat. Sorry, roster. Yeah. All right. I forgot to look. Did we have any strong takes from... What do they offer on Minnesota? 2.5 runs, first 3 innings. Meh. They don't give us the kid, huh? No. All right. Tampa and Toronto. Another great spot for Brandon Lau against... Jesus. Yeah, can't touch that. Matt Chapman got scratched yesterday, I believe. So we'll see if he's okay. All right. Nothing here that I feel like I have to take. And then what game were we? We are on Baltimore. Pitchers, 2.5 runs, first 3 innings. Ooh, that is intriguing. I wouldn't hate that. That's a maybe. That's a strong maybe. Cedric Mullins, if he leads off, yikes, nothing I can do with that. Dude, I don't like these runs props, man. Clevenger's at 1.5 pitching walks, 4.5 Ks. Man, these are tight. Taut. Syndergaard gets Cubs in LA. Yeah, it's Thor versus Steel, baby. Angels at the Red Sox. Next game on the docket. Patrick Sandoval against Tanner Houck. What's our line? Do we have lineups for this one? Doesn't look like it. Wait. Oh, there it is. We do. I'm just blind, apparently. Angels, Taylor Ward, Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani, Anthony Rendon, Hunter Renfroe, Jake Lamb, Brandon Drury, Luis Rengifo, Logan Ohape. Oh, green light that. Red Sox leading off Alex Verdugo against a lefty, really? Justin Turner's back, good. Rob Ref Snyder. Former Yankee great Rafi Devers in that cleanup spot. Kike Hernandez batting 5. Christian Arroyo. Bro, they're just pulling names out of a hat. What are they doing here? If I was the last team in the division and I needed dubs, my best hitter is guaranteed an at-bat in the first inning. I don't know what they're doing. All right, Sandoval versus Houck. Sandoval last year at 13.3% swing and strike rate. 3.91 expected ERA. Outperformed it with a 2.91 ERA. Let's pull up his metrics so far this season. Was a WBC GOAT. Meanwhile, Houck has a 3.86 expected ERA. 23% K rate last year. Was a starter, then in the bullpen, and then just kind of was a utility pitcher. So we'll see what we can do with him. If you've ever seen him pitch, they've often will do the overlay between him and Chris Sale, and people call him like a right-handed Chris Sale. So far this season, a 10.6% swing and strike rate for Sandoval. He had a 12.1% swing and strike rate in that last game against Toronto. 50% first pitch strike. This is a problem. You're going to want to be 0-1 more than half of the at-bats. Elevated xFIP in both on the season, almost a 5 xFIP. Statcast has given us a 27% hard hit rate, at 11% barrel rate. That's a problem. I will say 3 of those came against Toronto. Toronto's pretty good. We know that they hit lefties pretty well, so it could be a strength of schedule thing. And then BABIP was 194, so he had a 0.67 BABIP in that Oakland game, 286 in the Toronto game. So that's about where it needs to be. So the strikeout stuff is somewhat intriguing. The first pitch strike being 50% is a problem. He only has 3 walks on this season, so he's able to fight back. He does have stuff to get through a lineup. But here in Fenway, I'm a little bit scared. There are some strikeouts at the bottom of this lineup, and maybe he can tap into his 151 average allowed to lefties, because I would say if I had to name 3 or 4 Red Sox that I'm most scared of, Rafi Devers 1, Verdugo would be up there. So we can neutralize those guys if we tap into these splits a little bit more. So I think we do get to a little Sandoval. I think we do. But I'm fine with stacking the ballpark if you just want Fenway to go crazy, because Sandoval hasn't been like super sharp with that xFIP. So I think we scumdacker that. And then we probably also we're not gonna not play Mike Trout and Shohei and Fenway, right? That's just not gonna happen. What's Hawk bringing to the table? Chapman's in today? Okay. The more I run things, the more I'm liking a Yankees 5-man. I ain't gonna talk you down. 12% swing and strike rate so far this season for Hawk. 3.64 in the xFIP. That's really good. Statcast has given us 44% hard hit rate. That's not what you want. 2 barrels in that first game against Baltimore. And in that second game, 7 hard hit balls against the Detroit Tigers. Remember, the Tigers, not good. So Some stuff to be concerned about, but I do think overall, just based on what we have last year, and broader sample and the advanced metrics here, we had a sub 4 xFIP. He's still usable. He kind of feels just like Sandoval. Like, this is just a 4-corner spot, right? If he does well, I'm not stunned. If the Angels do well, I'm not stunned. If the Red Sox do well, I'm not stunned. If Sandoval does well, I'm not stunned. So I probably do probably just play it all. Sandoval is at no ownership. Where the Red Sox at? Let me look at the Red Sox and let me just look at this game, huh? It's pretty unowned overall. So you give me a shot at Fenway, straight up, I'll take it. And then both of these pitchers untouched. So much like the Toronto spot, if you're gonna give me this with no ownership, and I could just be 5%, 6%, 7%. I'm okay with that, so I'll do that. Scumdacker game. Let's get caught up. I was considering a 3-2-2-1 of the $1 single entry. Think I'm getting different doing that. Yeah, probably. I mean, yes. I would assume the majority of those lineups are just full stacks. I don't mind that, Sam. I think that's good if you like all those. Like I said, single entry where I'm trying to cash a little bit more, and if the field's a little bit smaller, I don't mind it. I would still, like, if I personally was making one lineup in a single entry, I'd still probably have at least one main stack to be the heart of the lineup, but I wouldn't feel as stuck on, doing a straight up 4-4, 4-3, or 5-2, 5-3, whatever. But I think that's fine too, if it's not that big of a field. Would you play Trout, Ohtani, 2-man if Hawk is pitcher? Still could get there with strikes. Are you asking would I play Trout and Ohtani in a lineup with Tanner Houck? If that's the question tonight, no. Absolutely not. There are times to play hitters against your pitchers, but it's usually not a 12-game slate. It would be, one of those turbo slates, 2 games, 3 games, 4 games, something like that. Otherwise, no, you probably don't have to do that. 5% more and looks great for tournaments, yeah. There's some fun tournament plays tonight. Like, I enjoy slates like this where ownership is a little bit more spread out. Also, I'm fine with super chalk slates as well, too, because it's so much easier to get different. Like, when Coors is taking half the field or whatever, I'm completely okay with, all right, field, half of the field, you could have these guys. I'll fight with the rest of the field with these guys. And yeah, it's going to fail sometimes, but this is a game of failure, baseball, and to just have that type of leverage is just a fun spot. So chalky slates are not as to me as like maybe NBA, where it's harder to fight back on the chalk, Yeah, no, I would not play 2 guys against my pitcher in this slate. Absolutely not. I wouldn't play anybody against my pitcher in this slate, to be honest. Grisham's batting 7th. Nice. What up, Darnell? Welcome to the chat. What up, M? What up, Cam? Yo, anybody lurking out there not sub to the channel? I'm trying to get 10 per stream. That would be lit. 86.28. So I only have like 1 or 2 this stream, which is fine. All right, let's move on to the next game here. Braves and the Royals. So, sounded like a Braves lineup just came out. We'll get that pumped in. Let's get the Royals lineup in here. MJ Melendez, Bobby Witt Jr., Vinny Pasquantino, Salvi, Kyle Isbell, Edward Olivares is batting 6th. Michael Massey, Franmil Reyes, and then Nicky Lopez in the 9th spot. And then where is the Braves lineup? You guys are talking like, oh, there's the Braves lineup. Acuna, Olsen, Austin, Sean Murphy, Eddie Rosario, Ozzie Albies, Vaughn Grissom. Grisham is batting 9th. Kevin Pillar, okay. And then Sam Hilliard. Is Hilliard a righty? Yes, right. No, he's a lefty, ain't he? I'm pretty sure he's a lefty. Good call yesterday with Rizzo. Appreciate it. Are you surprised Drew's only 1%? I'm stunned. I'm floored. If you go back to the beginning of the stream, I was like, what? I don't know if I believe it, to be honest. Like, sometimes ownership projections can just be wrong. I don't really know the formula behind it. But everything is low owned in the Blue Jays and Rasmussen. So, I don't know. Brady Singer versus Charlie Morton. Our pitching matchup here between the Braves and the Royals. Braves 4.8 run total. Royals 4.4. Uncle Charlie Morton, last season at 4.1 expected ERA, had a 12.2% swinging strike rate, 28% overall K rate. So far this season, Mr. Morton, what are we working with? 1%. I don't know if I believe that, Jake. You can't tell me 9 times more people want to play Jose Barrios against the number 1 team in baseball than Drew Rasmussen against the Blue Jays. And I'm not, Blue Jays are gangsters, right? I'm not picking on, I just mean talent-wise. But I guess we saw this yesterday. Like, Joe Ryan is clearly a better pitcher than Johnny Burrito. And he was lesser owned. I guess it's just the matchup was too menacing. I don't know. 10.6% swinging strike rate in that Padres game for Charlie Morton. 8.6% aggregate on the season. 5.52 overall xFIP. This is a problem. Batted ball also giving us a 50% ground ball rate. That's fine. Pull rate's pretty elevated. 12 hard hit balls so far, 2 barrels. So keeping the barrels down, that's good. It's harder to square up, I guess, his curveballs, whatever he's throwing. Yeah, 33.5% curveball. So just kind of meh. So meh advanced metrics, but it's a meh offense in the Royals, and it's a plus pitchers park. So we'd probably throw him in the mix. Let's look at the pitch report. Anybody on the Royals projects significantly well against the curveball? It's kind of Uncle Charlie's put out, right? Bobby Witt and Vinny Pasquantino. Those are the problems. Okay. Other than that, pretty negative grades overall. And the Royals have not been good. Royals so far this season against righties a 60 WRC plus. So I think I'm fine with getting Morton exposure. I'm sure his pitch count's pretty decent. 104 last outing. That's what you want. Strong shot at 6 innings. The fact that 100 pitches only got him 5 innings, you want to clean that up. But there are some strikeouts to be had here. So probably a tier 3 guy. I don't know if we're going to get too much warm and fuzzy on the front end, but yeah. Brady Singer, 24% K rate last year, sub 4 expected ERA, 3.23 actual ERA. Do we have a couple games from him this year or not? 6 and 5 innings, 4 and 3 Ks, about 80 pitches in both games. Walks were high in that Toronto game. So it doesn't look like he's cashing in on strikeouts, but let's see if there's any luck involved or bad luck involved in him not getting those. Might play 100% if it's going to be 1%. I mean, you don't have to. That's the beauty of it. You can be 10 times the field at 10%, you know? 8% swinging strike rate, so the strikeouts don't look like they're unlucky. xFIP is meh. Ground ball rate, I guess in the first game wasn't great. The first game was great. Second game not so much. Statcast, god dang, 22 hard hit balls, 4 barrels. Those aren't what you want. Against the Braves, I guess we're not pitching him. We probably get to some Braves, but I do think if the Braves succeed today, especially at these prices, it's probably not with a bunch of homers. You're probably hoping for some doubles and maybe some dancing on the bases. So maybe keep that in mind. I completely understand the love for Vaughn Grisham here. So yeah, I don't mind the Braves, but it's going to be hard for a bunch of homers in this park. Did Kevin Ross say anything about this park? He did. Winds at 15 mile, blowing a bit out to left, a bit right to left. So a little boost for some righty pull hitters. Singer, 54% ground ball rate to righties last year. Did have a home run problem to lefties. 1.43. So maybe this is a sub-stack spot. But good spot for Matt Olson theoretically. However, it does play against the wind in a sense. If the wind is, let's say it's more neutral. The wind is helping the righty pull hitters. So for Matt, he would more likely pull it to right field, and the wind was blowing right to left, so maybe it pushes it a little bit more center, but I wouldn't overthink that. So home run wise, Matt Olson looks like the threat just based on batted ball data. I don't know, maybe I don't stack the Braves. Maybe I do. They'll probably be low percentage. The Braves are just too good not to have some exposure to, but Singer could keep the ball on the ground. Moving on. Let's see if we have lineups here. Rangers and the Astros. There's a game I won't be able to watch a single pitch of because MLB TV. I believe these lineups are accurate. I believe Marcus Semien, Josh Smith, Nate Lowe, Adolis Garcia, Josh Young, Jonah Heim, Brad Miller, Travis Jankowski, Leody Taveras. Boom. And then Chas McCormick, Bregman, Jordan, Abreu, Tucker, David Hensley, Jeremy Pena, Mauricio Dubon, Martin Maldonado. And then Luis Garcia. Let me make sure we got the right Garcia. I think we do. I think last time we had to go through though. Just let me double check. There's 3 Garcias. Yeah, Travis, that's the, this whole grow the game initiative with the pitch clocks, making the game faster, and stuff like that, where you want more fans. Like, that's all fine and dandy. But the game is hard to watch. And luckily, I am a Yankees fan, so I don't really get impacted by it too much. But like if I live in Waco, right? So I live hours from Ranger Stadium or the Astros Stadium, and I wouldn't be able to watch any games. And you guys that are not in such a big state, I know, like my boy Jake in Utah can't even watch like the Diamondbacks or the Rockies, teams like that. Like that's not even the same state. So like these blackout restrictions are, I think, doing more damage against the sport than any of the pitch clock, not having a pitch clock was. You know what I mean? What I'm doing right now, chat, if you'll bear with me, there's 2 Luis Garcias that pitch. There's 3 in the league. And I want to make sure that we are pulling the right one. So I guess the other one's on the Padres. I want to say he was also on the Tigers at one point. But I think we've got that. The hitter ones are not going to be an issue. Bro, if the Nats ever get so blown out and they got to throw out a position player, and if they put Luis Garcia out there, I am screwed. Because that's just going to show up in my... All right, I think we got it now. All right, thank you for your patience. Live in Temple? What's up, Self? Let's go. All right, now we fixed that. Yeah, much more like it. 157 innings of sample size. 3.7 Sierra, 3.59 expected ERA, 24% K rate. And Martin Perez on the other side here, 20% K rate. Last year, he's always been a contact guy, ground ball guy. Against the Astros, I'm never really warm and fuzzy on pitching against them. There have been some kind of crazy strikeout games against the Astros this season, but a lot of it is from strikeout pitchers. Martin Perez doesn't really carry that pedigree with him, so I'm not going to roster him. But Luis Garcia, very, very intriguing. We've already seen in a couple of ownership runs where he's grabbing decent ownership. So is Corda Sengai worth picking up tonight? Yes. Absolutely. That'll probably be my highest owned pitcher. So to see him, third in ownership is crazy. Garcia looks like he's going to be the highest owned Fanduel pitcher and probably top 3 on DraftKings. And rightfully so. Like, I get it. I'm just kind of grabbing a pulse on where the field's at. I should probably open up 2 different. He's third on DK. So I'm fine with getting to a little bit. This is a strikeout prone Rangers lineup. Sure, we'll put him in the mix. And then the Astros stack. Actually, we'll probably nominate him for tier 2. I want to probably make. I think Sengai might get close to tier 1, but maybe we don't. Astros against Martin Perez. So again, Martin Perez. Kind of like Cal Quantrill. I would probably say Perez. I feel like it's a little bit better, but it's whatever. And one of the reasons why I wouldn't want to pick up Martin Perez, kind of like Quantrill, is he's typically such a ground ball guy that it's not really worth it in large field tournaments because it's not like he's giving up 5 homers. But the Astros are really good against lefties, especially. I do like this lineup. So let's look at a couple things. Let's look at plate discipline. 10% swing strike rate. That's actually kind of high for him, ain't it? Last year, 8%. So the swing strike rate's up a little bit. The batted ball data, ground ball rate is diminishing. That's interesting. He had a 50+% ground ball rate to lefties last year, 50+% ground ball rate to righties last year. And so far, he's rocking a sub 40% ground ball rate. We'll keep an eye on that because that's not normal for him. 1.2 ground ball to fly ball ratio. Hard contact rate still really, really low. Has given up a couple of homers, it looks like. He's given up 1 homer to a righty. So, where are these strikeouts coming from, Martin? Is he throwing something different? Or is this just luck? Fastball, cutter, changeup. 3-pitch pitcher. What was he rocking last year? Was he throwing sliders more last year? No. Fastball, cutter, changeup. A little bit of curve last year. It doesn't look like he's throwing a curveball yet. He hasn't. So look, if he's abandoned a curveball. I need a minute to figure this out. I'm probably wasting time because I'm not going to play Martin Perez chat, but my brain is stuck on why Martin Perez is getting strikeouts. I'm sorry. We're picking Luis Garcia on the Astros. Yeah. Look at pitch types from last year. Let's see if maybe the curveball just straight up sucked and he was like, yeah, we're done with that pitch. 2023 curveball. Oh wait, that's not what I want. That's not what I want. Or is it what I want? Anybody out there lurking? You haven't hit that sub button? You haven't hit that thumbs up button? Man, you would be really cool if you did both. And then maybe we'll hang out mañana. Alright, I scrolled way too far down. What? Am I blind? I'm blind. This is what I want? This is what I want. I'm literally dumb. Alright, so last year, the curveball for him had a 941 slugging, 577 expected slug, 405 WOBA, 18% whiff, 0% put away. So he was just at 329 expected batting average. So he was just like, you know what? We're not using this pitch anymore. So he hasn't thrown it in 2023, excuse me. Instead, looks like that changeup has been really plus for him. A 40% whiff rate on that changeup with 1728 RPMs last year. He picked up, 60 to 70 RPMs on his changeup. So I guess in last year's changeup was his best pitch for missing bats too. So it's looking like this changeup being added could be why. This changeup has a 2.96. Yeah, okay. Last year the changeup was his. I guess the cutter had a positive. Yeah, and the curveball was so negative. So him dropping the curveball to use the changeup a little bit more might explain, or does explain, the uptick in strikeouts. We might keep that in our back pocket. I don't think the Astros are the team to use that information against. Astros against the changeup. No, they're not. Abreu, Jordan, and Bregman, but the rest of the team kind of sucks against the changeup, for being honest. And the cutters mix and match. It would be crazy to pitch Martin Perez, right? He's under 7K. Why is he 10K on Fanduel? What? Dude, what? No, I can't do it. I won't do it. I'm not going to do it. Alright, I'll put him in the Barrios bucket where I could understand why you would play him here. And I do think he's sneakier than maybe you would give him credit for, just based on that changeup switch. But the Astros are too good for me to go after him. But he'll probably have no ownership. We'll get to some Astros stacks. Alright, let's get caught up on chat. Think I saw a roof open in Houston tonight. Does that stadium matter when it comes to roof open? I mean, it helps, especially in Texas, to make it hotter, more muggy. Houston, yeah, it's in the 70s, 80s. Might be some wind swirling. North Carolina here, no Orioles and Nats. See what I'm saying, Bill? You can't. What is the purpose? Does anybody know the reason why blackout rules are even existed? If I am correct, the way I understood it as a kid, whereas if the game was on TV, they would black it out if the game wasn't a sellout, right? So like if you lived in Dallas and the Cowboys game didn't sell out, well, it would be blacked out. If it sold out, then you could watch it. Is it blacked out so you would go to the game? Is that still why it's there, or does it just exist for some reason? I truly don't know. Martin carried the Rangers last year, possibly the best third starter. I can see that. Perez used to suck, and then last year was crazy good for most of it. Yeah. I appreciate that, Arch. Here, what up, Tall? Roof not open out here today. It's just a little bit. It smells like rain out here, but it's not quite. Play 6 out of 1,900 in a $12 single entry. Let's go, Allen. That's good. All right, let's move on to the next game. Pirates and the Cardinals. Oviedo taking on Woodford. I have a Cardinals lineup. I don't have one for the Pirates yet, but we'll see. Yesterday they didn't play Brian Reynolds, right? He had the. I'm assuming he had the day off. I hope he's not injured because he's killing it. Brendan Donovan, Alec Burleson, Goldie, Arenado, Wilson Contreras, Nolan Gorman, Tyler O'Neill, Dylan Carlson, and Tommy Edman. Yup. Was there a Pirates lineup? I don't see one. Oviedo on the bump for the Pirates. $1.25 plus whip last 3 years. The expected ERA was way better than I remember it being. 3.21 actual ERA, 6.2% barrel rate. Why do I remember him like sucking? These aren't. I mean, I guess. All right, his lefty splits are bad, and there's a lot of lefties in this projected Cardinal lineup, and I'm not used to saying that. 13% walk rate to lefties as well. So if they There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lefties in there. Take advantage of that. That 195 average to lefties. Why is that? 46% ground ball rate. There might be a shift thing, right? Where just based on last year, where the shifts could have just like kept the lefties off. Let's see what his BABIP to lefties was last year. Control F, BABIP. Last year he had 246 BABIP, so it's a little bit lucky, but maybe not as drastic as maybe I would expect it. 493 xFIP. So yeah, that doesn't add up, I guess. Hit a 493 xFIP, 195 average allowed. There's some middle ground there. I think the 13% walk rate is going to be a problem there. He has had an issue with throwing strikes to lefties. So if you're going to put yourself in a hole, maybe put some ducks on the pond here. It's a bad team to do that. So no matter what, I don't think I'm a... He's 9,200 on Fanduel. Why? What has he done? 26 against the White Sox, 5 Ks, 14-2 ground ball to fly ball ratio. What the flip was that lineup? Game log. Was it like all righties or what? In that game, he had a 20% swing and strike rate in that game. Had a 68% ground ball rate, 2.8 xFIP. How do I... Let me pull up that lineup. They threw out Gavin Sheets, I believe, is a lefty. Roby Gonzalez, Oswani Grandal, lefty. Vaughn Benintendi, lefty. Colas, Timmy Anderson, Moncada. Huh. Really? Well, good for him. I don't think I'm going to pitch. I don't think I'm going to pitch him. Six? No. I don't know. Let's split it up. .318 average allowed to lefties so far. So he's still struggling with lefties. He's starting to get some flop lag on that average allowed. 3 homers to lefties. Yeah, I'm not pitching Oviedo. Jake Woodford, not likely to pitch him either. A 13% K rate last year. Extremely overperformed the advanced metrics here. So I definitely want to stack the Cardinals. Woodford's not good, but it's hard to get too enamored with a Pirate stack. But I guess if you can neutralize some of these 30% K rates with his 13% K rate, it's not crazy. Sawinski has a 4+ rating in the bomb detector. Brian Reynolds is up there as well. We'll see what this lineup actually looks like. Wow. Marco Gonzalez got scratched for Tommy Malone. I didn't know Tommy Malone was still alive and pitching. That's crazy. We'll fix that. What up, Renza? Have you mentioned your favorite cheap pitcher, Oviedo? I have not. I don't think I'm gonna pitch him. I won't. Ticket sales. Yeah, it's ticket sales, right? I think Nestor Cortez will use his funky delivery. Always, for sure. Oh, you guys were fighting each other in tournament. That's awesome. I've been there before. There's a couple times where I'm like in the top 20 and I'm like a homer away from the top, but I got a homie up there, got a homie with me. It's just fun, right? That's awesome. I'm not gonna touch either pitcher here. I am gonna stack Cardinals. I don't think I'll full stack the Pirates here. Maybe you can sell me on a sub stack in bigger tournaments based on what the lineup actually comes out. McCutchen did look good yesterday. Brian Reynolds did not play yesterday. If he plays today, he's been great. But we'll wait on that lineup. All right, let's take a pause for the cause and plug the RunDFS.com VIP. If you guys want this spreadsheet as part of your daily repertoire of tools to research and make some decisions, it's behind the paywall over here at RunDFS.com. Click VIP memberships. There's week pass, 2 week pass, month pass, MLB season pass, year pass. Every pass comes with a credit, a voucher towards Fantasy Cruncher So if you get the MLB season pass, $300, you can rebate that down to $200 with $100 towards Fantasy Cruncher. And I believe that basically covers their big boy one, which is like $80 in a month. So you almost get a free month of Cruncher, but you don't have to get the $80 one either. And then that is the optimizer I use to manage my portfolio lineups. When you do upgrade, click VIP portal. There's a link to the spreadsheets. Also a link to the RunDFS.com RunDFS.com VIP Discord, and we've been hanging out in voice. Usually these night slates, and tonight will probably be the same. Don't tell nobody, but usually what happens is I'll screen share the baseball games. We go 4 wide like it's Talladega, you know what I'm saying? And then we're just chilling, grinding MLB The Show, stuff like that. So if you want to hang out, good community for you guys to be part of. And then we have to adjust the Marco stuff. So, yeah. Also, if you guys want to prop bet some of these games individually, you don't feel like managing a large portfolio of lineups, we have deals with PrizePicks, Underdog, Thrive, and No House Advantage. All these sites, if you sign up using code GUNDACKER, you will get a deposit match up to $100. And if you use my name, it's a good way to support the stream because then, they support us. And one more plug before we get back into the swing of it. If you are going to a game, check this out. If you want to go catch one of these baseball games and you can get some tickets and you haven't used the SeatGeek app, well, you should check it out. If you check it out, first of all, SeatGeek is so good at showing you the quality of ticket and the quality of deal you're getting. Green means good, red means they're trying to scam you. If you use the SeatGeek app and you use code GUNDACKER during checkout, it will take $20 off your order. So that's parking. That's a hot dog and beer, right? Go check out a game and let me save you $20. Anyway, let's get back into the saddle as we get caught up on chat. Cards are an awful stack? Nah. Top 2 single entry pitchers on DraftKings. For me, I'd probably go Kota Sengai and maybe Garcia, maybe Rasmussen, but I'd probably go Sengai and Garcia. Who's going yards tonight? Bomb detector loves Judgy. Teoscar must be facing the lefty for him to be up here. Buxton's up here. I think Brandon Lau's the guy. Brandon Lau's been crushing it. I think he has, last I checked, 900 homers so far. So 901 coming up tonight. Good God, bro. Look at that. That's stupid. I would say Brandon Lau is my homer call against Mr. Barrios. Brewers at the Padres. Eric Lauer up against Michael Wacha. Don't have a lineup for either team. Eric Lauer last year, 4.02 expected ERA at 158.2 innings. Padres, Michael Wacha, 4.56 expected ERA last season on a 20% K rate. Probably not going to be too interested in rostering either one of these guys tonight. 5.14 innings for Lauer the last 2 games. Pitch count's fine. Strikeouts have been better. I'll say a lefty against the Cardinals. You're asking for it. So I'm willing to forgive the diminished returns on that game. The Chicago Cubs suck. Padres do not suck. So not that excited here. And then Wacha for the Padres. Man, Padres have some random pitchers. Nick Martinez, Michael Wacha. 6th inning strong out of him against the Rockies and the Atlanta Braves. He had 10 strikeouts in 95 pitches. Huh? How'd that happen? Let's find this out. Thumbnails legendary. Yeah, man. Got to do these thumbnail photo shoots, bro. Wacha had a 16.7% swinging strike rate against Atlanta. He only had a 43% first pitch strike. So for him to churn out 10 strikeouts, pretty crazy. 11% swinging strike rate in that game against Colorado. So last year we said his swinging strike rate was just under 10%. Batted ball data, 1.38 xFIP. That's really good. 7.5 against the Rockies, not good. Ground ball rate against Atlanta was 60%. So like advanced metric wise, he was two different pitchers in game 1 versus game 2. So I don't know what that's about. BABIP was 200 against Atlanta. A little bit lucky, a lot of bit lucky, a little bit lucky against Colorado. 5 barrels. What? That's not what you want. So he is all over the place. You're seeing some good stuff, and then you're seeing some cause for concern. So in such a short sample, obviously I think the move is to trust the longer sample, and he's just super average, right? Pitch type, 42% on the fastball, 17% cutter, 31% on the changeup versus last year. So it looks like he lost 2 miles an hour on his fastball. Did he give up the curveball too? Like Martin? No, he didn't. Okay. So the fastball velo is down a little bit. Is that adjusting his expected numbers? Morton could do well. Yeah, he could. I think it is a rough night for pitching, but there's certainly some pitching that can do well. Morton was one of the ones I added. He has some. All these guys are not without concern, right? But these are the guys that I can see with the pitch count, with the matchup, with the pedigree to get some strikeouts. And I'm going to end up putting Kota Sengai up here when we get to that game. But yes, Morton is on my list of guys that I would get to. What was I do? Michael Wacha pitch types. I basically want to check on his fastball metrics since he's lost a little velo here. So last year's fastball had a 542 expected slugging, and this year, since he's lost 2 miles an hour in velocity, that 542 has risen to 619, 619. Booyaka. 462 actual slugging, and then 461 expected WOBA. Last season it was 383. So that fastball, that dog ain't gonna hunt. And if we said he had a 40% first pitch strike rate in that last game. So if you gotta play catch up, there's basically one pitch you play catch up with. I guess he has a cutter to use, but that fastball could be a problem. And then cutter wise, 740 expected slugging on the cutter. Wow. Last year the cutter had a 545 expected slugging. So yeah, the two pitches to get you ahead in the count or to catch up in the count are really bad. And then spin rate, 2037 spin rate on the fastball this year. So he's lost basically 100 RPMs. Concerning. Just 2 games. Fun with numbers, 2 games. But concerning. So I would say it doesn't look like there's a ceiling we're going after. Typically in either pitcher, unless you're trying to diversify a larger portfolio. But I can't see myself getting here in 50 or less lineups. Right? Yeah, I'm not. I do want to stack Padres. Padres have been kind of stagnant, but I'm hoping it's like a sleeping giant situation. A couple at-bats looked pretty good yesterday. Kind of the same with the Brewers. And let's look at this bullpen usage. The game did go to the 10th inning, I believe. And the Brewers bullpen has been elite, right? The Brewers, before yesterday, had like a 1 ERA. So who's available for them today? So Matt Bush is probably not available today. Payamps and Bush were like the only 2 guys that have given up a run, essentially, for the Brewers. So Devin Williams might be available. All right. And then Padres. Control F, Padres. They threw out Hader. Hader might be available with just throwing 13 pitches yesterday. Tim Hill probably not available, throwing 41 pitches the last 2 days. So that takes out a lefty. So then, other than Hader, it looks like they don't have any lefties. And Domingo Tapia, maybe still. Okay, so there might be some merit to stacking either team here. just because the pitchers are so unremarkable. But Padres I can get behind. I'm mostly concerned about this bullpen cutting the game in half. But I guess there's at least a chance that the bullpen's not as strong. So we'll get to a looser Padres stack. Where are we at? How many games we got? Jesus, bro. 3 games? All right. I'm sorry, chat. I take forever, and 12 games. Thank God it wasn't 15 games. Get caught up on chat. Cubbies don't suck. We're getting better. Getting better. Varland and Milner most likely for the Brewers. Yeah. Favorite single entry stack? Ooh. Probably the Orioles. The Orioles just give you that safety blanket, right? It just makes you feel good knowing if they don't hit homers, they're gonna steal bases. Like, it's probably the Orioles. Mets and the Athletics. Kota Sengai taking on James, Caprillion, former Yankee great. Sengai struggled in that first inning, right, against the Marlins, I want to say. And then we were ready to unload on the Mets organization. And then he turned up. And he curtain called with a 6K, 6-inning performance against Miami. Back-to-back really good games. He has moved up to a 10.4K price tag on DraftKings. 10.8 on Fanduel. Advanced metrics for him. First of all, going well for him. I mean, going from Miami to Oakland. Good start. Strength of schedule-wise. Go pop open some plate discipline. 12.2% swing and strike rate. The batted ball data has given us a 52% overall ground ball rate, elevated from 40 to 60% in Game 2. First inning of that last game was rough, right? He hit 300 BABIP in that game. He kind of a little went crazy lucky. A 143 BABIP the next game with 100% LOB, right? That's kind of fake. 4.2 xFIP, that's kind of fake as well. But that ghost fork, man, that pitch is becoming a little bit of a folk legend. So let's see what Savant has to say about it. Because I don't want to be too high on it. But before we look at that, the Athletics matchup is a really good one. It's a super plus park, probably the most pitcher-friendly park on this slate. And the most pitcher-friendly lineup on this slate. Good Lord. So, as long as this lineup isn't too different, and I don't really know what lineup the Athletics could throw out where I wouldn't want to take Kota Sengai. But yeah, this year, Kota Sengai, this forkball, check this out. A 0.49 expected slug. That's crazy. A 60% whiff. And only a 1047 spin rate. So it's like a freaking... It's a forkball, right? I guess kind of knuckleball-y, but not, you know what I mean? Fastball has a 342 expected slug. This sweeper didn't do well in 36 usage. Matter of fact, this sweeper is a big problem. 356 expected batting average, 994 slug. Threw it 20% of the time. Yeah, you should probably either throw it better or stop throwing it. And the cutter's mid. So, because of the matchup, because of the stadium, because I think he's good, Kota Sengai is probably... We'll go tier 2. He'll probably be my highest owned pitcher when it's all said and done. And most definitely. But I guess we'll wait for the lineup. And then James Caprillion, he's a guy we love to pick on with lefties. Last year at home, had a 240 average allowed, 17% K rate, 1.36 home run per 9, a 5.57 xFIP. This stadium could bail him out of some trouble. But the Mets obviously will look decently enough. So you do have to wrestle with, some trolley stuff because of the stadium. But it makes a lot of sense to be interested in some of these Mets bats, if not for the main slate, for a late slate or something like that. So far this season, Caprillion, 8.7% swinging strike rate. Not great. Ground ball rate, it just doesn't exist. 47% fly ball rate, 25% line drive rate, 40% pull rate, a 50% hard contact. I mean, this is literally the ingredients of the bomb detector, right? The pull rate, the hard contact rate, the fly ball rate, line drive rate. And then the StatCast has given us a 15.6% barrel rate. That's crazy. A 44% hard hit rate. That's crazy. The man's getting lit up. So if it wasn't for this park, the Mets might be one of the more fun stacks on the slate. But because of the park, we do have to maybe come down a little bit. But it's a great spot, just based on batted ball data. So how are the Mets looking in ownership? Mets. Shout out to, where's Sealy at? Metsies. So I actually do have some double-digit owned players: Lindor, Starling Marte, Nimmo, and then it kind of falls down a little bit. So Nimmo is up here. There's Nimmo on the bomb detector. It's not as high as you would think. Pete Alonso's up here. Daniel Vogelback. Yeah, I could see Vogie. So yeah, it's reasonable to be on Mets. We'll throw him down here. We'll do it. Freddie Peralta's pitching for Milwaukee now. Are you asking if you mean is he? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Is that something that just came out? Logan, you out there? You seeing this? He threw on the 9th, so 5 days. I guess he could be. It's probably tomorrow, though, right? I don't know. If there's something out there, let me know, and we'll revisit it. But I'm not seeing it. Twitter search. I'll move on. If somebody can, he is. All right. Let me see if I can confirm or deny this. And the way I do it is via Twitter. Nothing's coming up on Twitter for Freddie Peralta. I think he was supposed to pitch today, but they moved every pitcher back a day. So it's possible you're looking at something that initially projected him. But I think he was supposed to start today and got moved to tomorrow. But I'm not seeing anything that says otherwise. Pull up Fanduel hitter. Oh, never trust Fanduel, ever. Just don't. Not even if there's a fire. I think he was supposed to start today, but they moved all the pitchers back a day. I could be wrong. If he is, then let's fix it. But I don't see it on Twitter. Like, I literally searched Freddie Peralta, and nothing came back. All right, let me finish the other games. If something pops up, just let me know. We'll adjust. But we gotta finish these games. Cubs and the Dodgers. Justin Steele up against Noah Syndergaard. Do we have a lineup for either? Probably not. These are later games. Justin Steele, 25% K rate last year, essentially with a 3.81 Sierra, 3.59 expected ERA. Gonzalez, yeah, Marco Gonzalez got scratched for the Mariners, but that's not Freddie Peralta. That's a whole different team. Syndergaard, Lauer, yeah, Lauer. That's what I have, Lauer. I think at one point it was supposed to be a Freddie game, and they switched it. Syndergaard last year sucked. We all know that. Let's go look at Justin Steele. So I think Justin Steele in a lesser matchup we'd be on him, right? But this is probably not it. I just never pitch against the Dodgers. Usually don't pitch against the Dodgers, right? Dude, the Dodgers ever gonna leave the West Coast, bro? 13.2% swing and strike rate through 2 games against the Rangers, the Brewers. 4.04 xFIP. First game was immaculate. Second game, not so much. Ground ball rate, really, really good. StatCast, 26% hard hit rate. Has not allowed a barrel. And what do we say the ground ball rate? 55%. So it is something I don't want to pick on. I don't think I pitch him though. 7,900. Dude, look at 10.5K. You just don't, right? On Fanduel. At least the 7,900, you could think about it. But I am not thinking that long. I'm just going to respect the Dodgers here. But yeah, the ground ball rate, I think he would be better. Like we talked about Cal Quantrill, big ground ball guy. Like yesterday, Spencer Turnbull, big ground ball guy. So even when they do get hit up, it's not really paying off the ceiling of a stack. It kind of got the same here, except Justin Steele can miss a bat or two when he needs to. So maybe the Dodgers don't project or profile as crazy as they should. James Outman, Trace Thompson, and Mookie Betts are the highest in the bomb detector. So just one of those. I'm lukewarm to out on Steele. I can't play Steele at 10.5 on FanDuel. 8K on DraftKings. Like I don't think that's the craziest thing you can do. And Syndergaard, I'm likely not going to want to play. I know sometimes you'll take a stab at inferior pitching against inferior hitting, and the Cubs can project as a high strikeout team. And you just kind of got that feeling that Syndergaard, when the Dodgers picked him up, was like, oh, they're going to figure it out, ain't they? But let's see. How's he done metrically in the first two games? 9.3% swing and strike rate. First game against Arizona, 14%. Second game, 4%. So diminished immediately. 4.19 xFIP. And hard hit ball, 12 of them, 35% hard contact rate. Essentially one barrel. So 2 game sample size, completely contrasting results. Contrasting, is that the word? I don't know. And then homer wise, he allowed 2 homers to lefties. So that's about what you would expect from Thor going back to the last couple of years. So you don't expect a ton of strikeouts from him, but in a decently high strikeout matchup, I guess it's not the craziest range of outcome for Thor to eat up 5 or 6 innings, grab himself a win. What's his pitch count? And then I'm gonna go look at his velo. His velo, especially on the slider. 10 innings, 8 Ks, no Ks that last game, and the pitch count's in the 70s. So I'm feeling better and better about not having to play this. 92.7 on the fastball average velocity, 90 on the cutter. Does he just not throw a slider anymore? That's different. He was pretty well known for that slider. Last year, 22% slider. So he was fastball, slider, curveball, changeup. Looks like he gave up the slider for a cutter. And barely throwing the curveball. So essentially fastball, cutter, changeup. That's interesting. Syndergaard. Spicy tuna sushi roll. I've never had sushi, chat. Never. But everyone I know loves it. So maybe one of these days. If you're allergic to shellfish, would that be in sushi? Because I don't want to risk it. I do eat fish. I ate some fish the other day, though. So, wait. It says he has a slider. What? I'm confused. I guess Fangraphs and Baseball Savant disagree on what a slider or a cutter is. Did I read this wrong? 2023. They didn't register a slider. Huh. But over here, they register a slider. Alright, well, I'm not going to get stuck on this. His whiff rate is meh. Change up a fastball. Whiff rate's solid. Oh, well, I'm not likely to pitch him. Let's fix this Marco Gonzalez thing. Tommy Malone. Extra wasabi. Just got back. Wise Kota Sengai, 10.4K. I know it's A's pitcher spark, but he doesn't scream me 10K. Kota Sengai, I think he'd be alright. I think he's. I mean, I don't know what you want DraftKings, and this is not picking on you, Shannon, but like, how do we want DraftKings to create pricing, right? What I mean by that is it's probably a little ambitious to expect them to care enough about advanced metrics and strikeout rates, blah, blah, blah. So I would assume that their pricing algorithm has to be based on results. And that's the beauty of baseball, is the results don't really matter. But if you look at his first 2 games, 24-26, versus other than Rasmussen, and his matchup brings him down a little bit, like 24-26 is pretty doggone good. So in comparison to or relative to the other options, like, I get it. I'm not going to overreact to it. Pricing really does not matter. I would not overthink that. If you get 20 out of a pitcher, you're pretty much live, right? No matter what the price is. So, yeah. But I don't really know what the perfect... I hate their hitter pricing way more right now than their pitcher pricing. I do think the pitcher pricing is really soft, though, and it has been to start the season. But also, like, I'm willing to give them a longer leash on the pitcher pricing, but the hitter pricing has been a joke. Buffalo chicken pizza from Greeley Pizza Company. OG Kush on the side. Let's go, Pojen. What up, Chuck Deuces? Never have, never going to either. I don't actually know what sushi is. From my understanding, it's just raw fish, right? But I could be wrong. It's like rice and fish. When is Volpe going deep? Man, I don't even have a premonition. Maybe soon. I don't know. This kid today, I don't know about him, but maybe. Dude, fried catfish and ketchup, though. That's a vibe. Austin Gomber taking on Tommy Malone. So, if you are just catching up on the news, Marco Gonzalez was the projected starter for the Mariners. Looks like his wife's having a baby, and he's been put on the paternity list, so congrats to him. And in his place right now, Tommy Malone, who I did not know still pitched. So, has he, first of all, has he been pitching this year? Secondly, has he just been like journeymaning the minors? Thirdly, how freaking old is he? 36 years old? I'm not here to age shame. I'm not that much younger than him. Game log. You like Garcia in single entry? Yeah, I don't mind him. I think he'll be one of the highest owned pitchers in single entry, but like I don't feel as obligated to be different at pitcher than I do with hitting. 6.3% swing and strike. Wait, he's actually pitched quite a bit. So this is probably just going to be a full-on bullpen game for reading between. Let me see the bullpen usage. The Mariners. Or is this just not? This ain't even from. Oh, he hasn't pitched. I'm stupid. Hey, he hasn't pitched at all. Hunter, thank you so much for the sub. Has he pitched in the minors? He has. He has a 0 ERA, 5 innings, 5 strikeouts, 0.6 WHIP. So, feel like that's not sustainable at the major league level. Just gonna put that out there. And then 4 Ks against righties, 2.5 ground out to air out ratio. Right about that. Last year he had 7% K rate, 16 innings. He hasn't really pitched more than 40 innings in the major league level the last 3 years. When he was a regular, he was somebody we attacked. So I'm just gonna expect, at best, a replacement level pitcher, but probably a little less than replacement level. And then the Rockies are usually not a team you're running to stack anyway. But I do prefer them against lefties, so I can get behind a couple backdoor Rocky stacks. Maybe this game just gets a little ugly. Austin Gomber I can pick on happily. Last year on the road, 254 average allowed, 1.37 home run per 9, 4.59 overall expected ERA, almost 4 WHIP. Mariners make a lot of sense. So I'm going to get to the Mariners for sure. Rockies might be a little bit lighter. But yes, I'm not pitching either one of those pitchers. Where we at on that? Used to be a sushi hater until I tried it. I'm down to try it. I just don't want to die, first of all. I know for a fact I'm allergic to shrimp. I just assume that it's a shellfish allergy, so I don't try too much seafood these days. But I remember eating shrimp and crab when I was a kid, and it didn't F me up, so I don't know. Somewhere along my life, I developed it. But sushi is probably not that, right? As long as it would, I don't know. But the thought of raw fish, like, repulsed me, but I also might, that's just what I thought it was as a kid, I don't know. They deep fry sushi nowadays, it's called tempura. Nice. I might try it. Relatively new to the DFS, I just try to watch and research as much as I can who we like today. So, basically when I do these streams, I go game by game. I pretty much focus on the pitchers. And when you like or don't like a pitcher, that'll basically tell you who you like or don't like as a stack. So, it looks like I'm going to walk away from this stream with the most interest in Luis Garcia and Cota Sengai. And then we'll mix and match some Cortez, Rasmussen, Sandoval, Charlie Morton. And then this is my long stack list Friday night. What I'll do is I'll work on my exposure levels. And then I'll fill out, player pools here. All this is going to be available for the Vipers at rundfs.com. Also be chilling in the rundfs.com voice chat. And then we'll probably hang out a little bit tonight as well watching the game. So we'll do that. Tempura's our favorite. So good. I might try it. As long as it's not worth it. I mean, it's not worth, I don't know, some penicillin wrapped sushi maybe. Fruit does that to me too now. Bro, Jeff, I'm allergic to bananas too. I did a little bit more research on it. And it's not necessarily a banana allergy. It's like pollen from whatever. So like when I eat bananas, my lips sometimes get tingly, or you do that stuff with your throat. But I still love bananas, so I still kind of like eat them here and there. But yeah, when I was a kid, Jeff, I don't remember that at all. So I remember when I was reading about because I literally almost died from eating shrimp like 6 years ago. My ex brought me a plate of fettuccine shrimp, like Alfredo, something like that, and I ate it, and dude, it was scrumptious. Next thing you know, I look like the elephant boy. I can't breathe. I'm telling my nephew, call 911. They throw me in a paddy wagon or a meat wagon, send me out to the hospital, and I was in dire straits. And yeah, my mom has a shellfish allergy. I was like, well, I guess I got that, but where was that, when I was a kid? So that stuck. What does ISO stand for? So ISO is isolated power. It's basically slugging minus batting average, and it's a stat that shows a hitter's power. So 200 plus ISO is usually a good starting point for power hitters, and power hitters is important for DFS because that's where you're going to get a lot of your points, your doubles, your triples, your home runs and stuff like that, right? What else we got? My lips tingle too. Yeah, we're old-fashioned, but DFS transitions more of an analytical outlook. I was the same way, Hunter. DFS made me re-fall in love with the game of baseball. It's a beautiful game, and yeah. So welcome aboard, Hunter. I don't know what we're gonna do tomorrow, chat. Tomorrow is probably an all-day thing. I'll look and see what's out there. If you guys don't have choices when it comes to MLB streams, if there's nobody in the morning, I might get up and do one. Like, I'm gonna be up anyway, right? Yeah, it looks like it's a day slate tomorrow. So if there's not gonna be a baseball content offered by one of the big boys, I'll fire up a stream. If I did it, it would probably be, so this is 1 Eastern. It would probably be about 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern. Probably 10 a.m. Eastern, but we'll see. I'll look at it, and I'll announce it on Twitter or in the airwaves, if that makes sense. One point I cashed 12, 15 double us, but I cooled down a lot. Yeah, baseball's very streaky. Very streaky. Oof, Jamie, that's tough. That's tough. Unfortunately, like, I hate to be rude. a victory lapper, but that was a bad bet anyway. But man, that's tough. Great sushi bar will make you a shellfish-free roll if they switch out gloves. Just get the eel sauce. Yeah, last time I went to what do they call those? Where the chefs cook in front of you, you sit around the table. I can't think of it. I went to one of those like a year or two ago. I was like, yo, I'm allergic to shrimp, and they like switched everything out just to make sure I didn't have like contaminated food. That was awesome. Always crunch the numbers and data, but still stay old-fashioned. Yeah, because baseball's such a high failure. Like I was thinking about it earlier. Somebody was talking to me about how they research. I was like, because the failure rate's too high, baseball is an easy sport to have paralysis by analysis. You can get stuck in, hard contact, ground ball rates. And I kind of just stay on the surface with the expected ERA, the Sierra, the ground ball, hard contact. But there are people spending time of their day to see if a pitcher will throw a pitch in the inner left quadrant 11% of the time. Blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, dude, you are wasting your time, because that is not really beneficial long term. One, the other team's doing that too, but two, it's just the failure rate's so high that's not worth your time. So welcome to the DFS side of it. Definitely embrace the analytics, learn about what actually matters, because yes, that ERA and the surface stats like that, the results only stats, really don't matter in the long term for us. We're stuck on the predictive analytics, but you don't have to get too far deep to where you're just paralysis by analysis, because there's probably every player or pitcher on this slate I can make a case against them. You know what I mean? Hibachi, that's what it is. Yeah, I went to some hibachi girl, and I was like, yo, I'm allergic to shrimp. I'm not here to rock the boat. Just want to put that out there. And they were like, no, we got you, bro. And they like switched it up. They were really cool about it. Yeah. Include Rushman in your Baltimore stacks with our price tag. Yeah, Mitch, we don't care about prices. We just set the rules and let her rip. All right, chat. I got to get out of here, man. I appreciate you guys making part of my Friday afternoon, be part of your Friday afternoon. All I ask, 3 things: sub button, like button. Tell somebody out there you love them, because you don't know who needs to hear it. And if you haven't heard it, I love you. I'll be in the Discord here in a couple minutes. If you're waiting on me, I'll be there in a little bit. Yeah, I'll catch you guys maybe tomorrow. Good luck. God bless. Go with some money. Peace.